Woo! Wait! Real nigga, old nigga shit going on over here, man. Ain't nothing watered down on my motherfucking channel but the motherfuckers in my comment box. Woo! I keep telling motherfuckers, man, if you really want to talk to a motherfucker or talk bad to a motherfucker, man, go over to YouTube. YouTube gonna let you get your motherfucking point across when you talk about these coward ass motherfuckers on the planet. TikTok ain't gonna let you get your point across, man. If you wanna hear my motherfucking content, you gotta go to YouTube. I'm not fucking with no motherfucking watered down ass app like TikTok never again in my life. Catch me on YouTube. I'm on YouTube. Man, I'll tell you what, we got a lot of things going on in the world today and a lot of things that we need to talk about. We got P. Diddy asking and begging for motherfucking bond hearings, and them folks is not gonna give it to. They not gonna let no motherfucker like P. Diddy run this motherfucking world and run loose and what they saying that he has done. A lot of people sit back and they try to question what's gonna happen when it come to P. Diddy, but it ain't need no mystery. Sean Puff, Daddy Cone ain't gonna never see the free world ever again as a human being. Dude have broke all the rules and cardinal sins that people don't even understand. There's so many individuals in the world that don't get to speak, and sometimes people don't understand it be the victims of the people that a lot of times we cheer on. I watched Donovan Thomas' mom online. You got I watched Donovan Thomas' mama online and she was literally crying. Donovan Thomas' mama was online, she was crying, and she was talking about how she felt like the Georgia DA let her son down. And that's what people don't understand. Even when you doing this reporting, and even though I say the things that I say, and I stand on hood business, I don't ever believe that you should ever tell the police anything in the world. But it's always victims and people that really that you should be talking about that end up being the victims of the things that go on in the streets, man. You got Donovan Thomas nut mama online, and she's online and she's at her son's gravesite and she's crying. She's crying because she feel like ain't no justice been served for her son. She feel like that people laughed and cheered on the people that murdered her son. She feel like that the world ain't looking at the bigger picture, that it's a lot of people out here that need to be said as a victim, and Lil Woody ain't one of them. Ain't none of these individuals that participated in this YSL trial no victims of what went on, man. A lot of people are trying to get notoriety and clout off this YSL situation when a lot of people lost their lives, a lot of people lost their freedom, a lot of people lost their voice. But only thing that the world sit back and they focus on is these rats and these cowards. And they want to say, well, they have a right to redeem themselves. They have a right to change their life. You should have changed your life before you ruined all the people's lives that you involved yourself in. You can't be mad at the police, the Georgia DA, for doing what they did because they the police. You got to be mad at the individuals like Kenneth Copeland that went down to the police station on his own and voluntarily gave information to incarcerate individuals in his own community. You got to be mad at the individuals that said that they was hood and went down there and told on motherfuckers. I'm not gonna let nobody keep screaming, "Oh, the police dirty, the DA dirty." That's what their job is, man. Their job is to be the police, and you expect hood motherfuckers to keep it hood and not go down there and work with the police. You expect a motherfucker that grew up with nothing to know that you don't never cooperate with the law enforcement in no kind of way. You never do that, man. You never cooperate with law enforcement to incarcerate anyone. I don't give a fuck if it's black, white, Chinese, or Asian. A lot of people on laws focus on what reality is and what the internet is. A lot of people see shit like this YSL trial on TV, and these folks actually think that this is some kind of menacing. Like there ain't people that's been murdered, there ain't people that been hurt, there ain't people that lost their motherfucking family members to prison time. People are not focused on what they should be focused on. Focus on the whole case and let it shine a light on the people that's always screaming that the police have to get them. The police ain't have to get motherfuckers into other motherfuckers put the police on them. This whole case showed that Kenneth Copeland, Lil D from Cleveland, Mutu, and a long list of coward motherfuckers work with law enforcement, man. They work with the same people that they talk bad about in their songs. They went online and mocked the rats and cowards that they said that they would never be, and they became them same people. Them folks contradicted every fucking thing that they ever said online. Every motherfucking Instagram post where they was talking about a motherfucker would tell the lie to their mama and their kids, but get in the courtroom and tell on another motherfucker the truth. Them folks did it and lived it, man. And out of all them rats, the only one that embraced it, he's a rat and a coward, is Kenneth Copeland. He embraced that he's a rat. Y'all folks don't want to just put it out there that if you actually watch the YSL trial, you would know two things that went on in this trial. One is Kenneth Copeland was the key to the whole situation. He was the one that started. Two, Kenneth Copeland was the only motherfucker that was working harder than law enforcement to incarcerate young black men in Fulton County, Georgia. Think about all the individuals that have pled guilty to 10, 20, 30, 40 years in prison. They gonna be serving time away from their kids. Their kids is 10 and 12 years old. They ain't gonna see their daddies till they damn near grown. And if you think somebody's sitting back and they like, oh man, look, Woody did the right thing. Dude committed the ultimate sin against his own kind. He committed an open sin against his own people. So when people scream out that this trial, this YSL trial, or any other trial is about them people attacking rap lyrics and attacking rappers, it's not about that, man. It's not about that by far. Because if you watch these trials, you will realize that these motherfuckers are just some idiots in the world. And they want to be so famous and so feared by other individuals that they don't even know that they go out in the streets and commit murders and crimes and rap about it. And in they rap, they be detailed because they want the world to know that they done it. They be so detailed that they sit there and tell people the kind of car they was driving, the kind of shells that was left on the scene, all because they want to be famous. All because they want their name to be in lights saying that they the most hardest motherfucker on this planet. But when them folk come and get them folks on a RICO case or even a simple case, them folk realize that they ain't tough as they thought they would. Them folk realize that they ain't built like they thought they would. Them folk realize that they don't want to go to the penitentiary and be around real killers. They realize that they sitting in them jail cells and they realize that the thing that come out their mouth will hurt them more than they could ever understand. You can't never, I'll tell you this, it ain't about loving the streets, but if you're a part of the streets, you got to respect the street code. And the street code is that you don't cooperate with law enforcement in no kind of way. Now, if you're not in the streets, you have nothing to worry about. If you're in the streets, you shouldn't care about what's going on in the streets. But if you out there in the streets and you swinging that motherfucking hammer and you playing like you gang and you going live all the time with gang colors on and you out there threatening people, talking about your ops, then when a motherfucker pull up on you and push your motherfucking hairline farther back than it already is, you can't be mad. If your motherfucking son or daughter or somebody you love out there in this world online right now threatening somebody, talking crazy to somebody because they playing them internet gangster type thing, and they bump into a real motherfucking gangster and they pull up on their ass and they sit there and then you have to bury them motherfuckers because they was talking too much shit or acting like they somebody that they wasn't, then that's their fault. But people are gonna start showing these people in the world that you can talk that shit online, but when you interact that shit out in the real world, there are consequences to that shit. There are real dire consequences to the point where you might not go home, man. You might not see your friends and family no more after you walked out that door. Because if you online and you are a rat or a coward or a person that's out here pumping your chest up at the world, somebody might pop up and try to deflate your ass. Because the world is built to the point where I always knew that I always knew that a lot of people in the world didn't comprehend what the streets meant and what the world meant. The world is different than the streets. And people that act like that they are in the streets are most likely somebody that shouldn't be in the streets. Because a lot of people ain't built for the streets. Because if you're in the streets, man, there's one thing that you always know. You know that there are going to be consequences to any fucking situation in the street. You could be in the streets and you could be grinding, hustling, minding your motherfucking business. And then the robbers come and you had to bury one of them suckers, man. Are you prepared to bury a motherfucker? If you ain't prepared to bury a motherfucker or be buried or be put in prison for the rest of your life, then you need to try to find you a whole new motherfucking way of living. These folks out here pass out jobs every motherfucking day to people that know that they shouldn't be in the streets, man. You ain't got to worry about a motherfucker calling you a rat or a coward or worry about somebody doing something to your family and your friends if you going to clock in one of them motherfucking jobs, man. But if you out here playing in these motherfucking streets and you act like you don't want to be part of a gang no more, the same gang that you was online threatening people, and when the other side catch you and your family and your kids at the skating ring and they huff and puff and blow that motherfucker down trying to get your ass and don't get you and knock your kids off, then you can't do nothing but blame yourself for the action that happened with your kids, man. People always holler out, well, she didn't have nothing to do with it. Why did they gun that car down when she didn't have nothing to do with it? She was fucking with a coward ass weak motherfucker that was out here doing shit and popping at folks. And people don't understand this. When you in them streets, man, ain't no motherfucker giving you no bypass. If you got your kids in the car with you, man, if you got your kids in the car with you and you out here popping at people and thinking that you safe, you playing. You putting your family and kids in danger every day that you go online and threaten your so-called ops. Because everybody ain't gonna get online and throw motherfucking shots at you. They gonna come in person and throw them in person. If you get what the fuck I'm saying. Everybody ain't gonna be sitting around like King Von and all these other rappers and threaten folks and talk crazy to folks and slip up and let some weak motherfucker sneak up behind them and take their motherfucking life. If you threaten the right motherfucker gonna end that situation that day and that day only. He gonna come and find you or somebody you love to make that threat go away. And a lot of motherfuckers in this world are so terrified of the police when the police ain't the worst thing that can happen to them and their family. People don't understand that the police ain't the worst thing that can happen to you and your family when you in the motherfucking streets. When you in them streets and you do something to violate the laws and rules of the streets, it might be a billion weak ass cow motherfucker that cheer you on this internet. But it's always gonna be a real motherfucker somewhere sitting back in your neighborhood that don't like the stink, the smell of the rat in their motherfucking neighborhood. I like the stinks of people looking at them from around the world and saying, y'all some weak motherfuckers, man. Y'all are some coward motherfuckers and y'all are producing rats, man. It's gonna be somebody that's gonna step up, a real hood motherfucker that always his whole life was raised on hood principles. Somebody that's already in the streets and know what the rules of the streets is gonna sneak up behind that motherfucker and push his hairline back like he at the barbershop. It's gonna be somebody that catch that motherfucker at the skating ring or family function and close that whole motherfucking function down with one motherfucking spray. And I ain't talking about a spray from a hose pipe. So all the people in the world that sit back and idolize motherfuckers they call gangsters and shit in the street, y'all ain't really met a real gangster. Because a real gangster go through neighborhoods with rats and terrorize. Rats can't never survive in now real gangster environment. A rat and a peon can never survive in a real gangster environment. Because if you surround a rat with nothing but gangsters and they know he a rat, somebody gonna exterminate them. Somebody that's real. Ain't nobody gonna want to ever be in no picture with no rat talking about this my homeboy, this my ride or die. Because if you ride with a rat or associate with a rat, use a rat. If you associate with a coward motherfucker just because they got some money, that just make you a coward motherfucker too. And people don't realize that people put targets on their backs just by their association with rats and cowards. It's a lot of people out here watching people like the police watch motherfuckers, waiting for their opportunity to strike, waiting for their opportunity to do the world and the society a justice by taking a motherfucker up off this planet that don't deserve to be breathing. It is somebody out here literally surveillance, doing surveillance on a lot of these rats that think they got away. It's a lot of motherfuckers that think they got away with telling on motherfuckers until they end up in a jail cell and that immunity deal or that plea deal don't even come into factor with the new charges they got. Like FMD, whatever his name, FDM or FBG, Butts or whatever his name was, that clown that's always on these motherfucking podcasts, gloating about it being an FBI informant. When they got him down in that motherfucking jail, that man cried and 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 cried. Because he know he ain't got nobody else to tell on, man. When you ain't got no motherfucking body else, when the government get through using your ass up, they gonna throw you to the wolves. They gonna put you into the cage with the wolves and they gonna spread honey on your ass. They gonna make sure that everybody in the pod know that you was working with law enforcement. Lil Woody, Lil D, Mutu. That's why you always gotta know that at the end of the day, it's gonna be some street justice. You had Jeffrey Dahmer, a fucking serial killer that went around in the world and was eating black people and doing all type of crazy shit. He bumped into the right motherfucker in the penitentiary and street justice prevailed. So just know this now, man. The streets might be watered down. The streets might be soft in your neighborhoods and in some of these neighborhoods. But when them folks hit them motherfucking cages where them motherfucking real beasts that ain't got nothing to lose, they gonna tie them suckers from limb to limb. They gonna tie every weak ass coward. And the crazy thing about it is, you don't gotta ask for a motherfucker paperwork when you seen all these suckers on these podcasts. You seen these weak ass motherfuckers go on podcasts and confirm that they are rats. So when they hit them compounds, it ain't gonna be show me your paperwork. It's gonna be like I want his soul. It's a lot of motherfuckers in the penitentiary system that are soul takers, and that's what they do every fucking day of their life because they never gonna be free. You could give them folks $100 worth of motherfucking commissary, and them folk would take a motherfucking soul. If you give them folks $5,000 on their books, they would take every motherfucking soul that you give them a list of. So there's some motherfuckers in this world that will take care of the business no matter where you at. You can't hide from the truth, you ratting ass cow. Y'all motherfuckers, I love when you motherfuckers think y'all safe. I love when a motherfucker think they said like it's a motherfucking Donnie Brasco movie. Like it's a Donnie Brasco movie. This ain't no motherfucking movie, man. And even in the movies with the mob motherfuckers, every once in a while the mob catch the rats and the snitches in the motherfucking cabin with the FBI and it's lights out for them motherfuckers. And there's one thing about it, ain't now one of these red ass cowards that be on these platforms got no real money where they can take every nut ass motherfucker in their family and hide them out. They can't. It ain't no possible way. Because these folks are so stupid that they think that they actually famous. Actually famous, a content creator, a rapper, a singer. You's a fucking rat, man. You's a fucking coward and a rat and a motherfucker that eventually some other rat ass coward gonna bump you out the spotlight. And you out here buying motherfucking cars and jewelry like you a rapper. You out here acting like that you actually mean something to somebody more than them 9, 10 motherfucking nothing ass motherfuckers that your mammy pushed out her ass. Ain't no motherfucker really giving a fuck about no weak ass coward motherfucker on this planet. I think every weak ass coward motherfucker peon on this planet deserved to be walked off into the woods. I think every weak ass motherfucker that came in this world and told on a motherfucker need to be took off on a motherfucking nature walk and never seen again. There's too many motherfuckers that get online. You got the motherfucking audacity and the balls to go on podcasts and go about putting my homeboy in prison? And y'all folks think that shit cool? Man, every hood nigga in the penitentiary sitting that thing and they said, man, I'm gonna sharpen that motherfucker up. He run across me. He ain't even got a tail on that motherfucker, but somebody gonna say somebody told on me. I'm gonna do they family a motherfucking favor. Because this motherfucker sitting in prisons and they gritting their teeth and coming up with a plan to get out one day. And they whole motherfucking plan is getting rid of the motherfucker that done something terrible to them and their family. And that's getting on that motherfucking witness stand and telling the truth, the whole truth, so help them God to the motherfucking folks in that interrogation room. Your mammy said, baby. See, that's why I don't even interact on TikTok. Cause you got so many weak motherfuckers, man. People don't understand that any motherfucker that talk in my comment box or say some on my platform about any content, you's a rat and a coward. You's a rat, a coward, a loser, a nothing ass motherfucker. The government probably taking care of you and your man. Your mammy or your daddy didn't give you the rights of what it meant to be a better person in life, and you mad at the world because your grandmama still living in the same project she lived in for 30 years. Your mammy will move into the project next door. Your sister live in the same project, and y'all calling the project y'all family motherfucking surround. Them the only type of motherfucker that come on my page talking that shit. Nothing ass motherfucker that love rats and love cowards and want to support nothing ass motherfucker that's waiting on the government to take care of. I ain't gonna never ever. I came from nothing. I came from the motherfucking project. I never lived in the motherfucking project again in my motherfucking life because I know I'm better. As an adult, I knew I was better than that man. Yeah. Are you talking about your mama, Big Kevin? You talking about your mama? Oh, okay, okay. We ain't gonna bring your mama up in these conversations. See, these folks say, I guarantee you I own more motherfucking property than half of these suckers don't even own a motherfucking car. I did half of my motherfucking life in the penitentiary, and I guarantee you, I got more than half of these motherfucking suckers that ain't never went nowhere in their motherfucking life and been out here free all day. So, motherfuckers that don't respect me, you know what you can do to me, man. You know what the fuck what do we always say to them coward weak ass motherfuckers hood motherfuckers say? You suckers can goddamn it go in the corner and suck your thumb, motherfucker. Because when them real motherfuckers come and catch your weak ass hiding behind this gangster internet shit, a motherfucker gonna take you and your mama soul, you weak ass motherfucker. Because I'm gonna encourage a motherfucker not to forgive a rat. I'm gonna tell you to go punish that motherfucker. I'm gonna go tell you that if somebody told on you and took your family away from you, if you ever catch that chance, you go take everything that they live up off this planet. You go get every motherfucking thing all the way down to the goldfish and even the little brown dog just running around in the yard. You make sure that them folks feel the pain that you felt when that sucker ass coward motherfucker disrespected the code of the streets and told on you and put you and your friends and family in jail. You let them weak motherfuckers know, yeah, I'm the motherfucker that's sitting in this penitentiary with a life motherfucking sentence. But I'm the motherfucker that took everything up off this planet that you love, you weak motherfucker. Because people don't understand, y'all ain't seen a real boogeyman. When you bump into a motherfucker that ain't got nothing else to lose and nothing else to go on and it's over with, a motherfucker gonna find every weak ass coward motherfucker on this planet and knock on their door and push their motherfucking hair blind back like I got a motherfucking set of clippers in my hand. I keep telling motherfuckers, all you weak ass cowards and rats and nothing ass motherfuckers living in projects, living on Section 8, the government need to deport your motherfucking ass. Y'all the motherfucking problem, all you worthless motherfuckers waiting on a first of the month check, waiting on the motherfucking government to give you food stamp to feed all them nothing ass babies that you don't made with all them nothing ass motherfucking niggas in the projects. That's y'all motherfucking fault, man. You can't expect no motherfucker to come in and help you take care of your responsibility. You didn't let me come in and be part of the threesome when you and that motherfucking sucker was in there making that baby. You didn't come in there and let me put my motherfucking hot dog in your mouth and spread mustard on that motherfucker like you did that motherfucker that ain't paying you child support. Motherfuckers need to stop waiting for the government and other motherfuckers to take care of them and their responsibility. Motherfuckers sit back and cry and whine and always want to blame the white man and blame the government. Start blaming your mamas and daddies for being nothing ass motherfuckers and not teaching you how to be a better human being in life and how to go out and do better things with your money to make better decisions with your money to make sure that your next generation don't be a piece of shit like theirs. To make sure that your generation don't grow up in no motherfucking project, in no housing project screaming out that's they hood when they don't own their motherfucking brick in that motherfucking whole building, man. That's what the problem is. Motherfuckers need to start going back a generation or two and punishing the parents and the motherfuckers that raised these nothing ass motherfuckers that don't know how to do the things that they need to do in life to survive. Because if you ain't willing to get up and go out and work for it, because I'm gonna tell you this, man, I've been in the streets and I don't grind, but I don't have some motherfucking jobs where I was up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning washing motherfucking cars because I wanted to make sure my kid didn't live in no motherfucking projects I know apart. And you talking to a hood nigga that came out the penitentiary with nothing, nothing. And I make sure that every fucking day I grind and my kids ain't never got to hear no motherfucking gunshots, no ambulance, no motherfucker see no bodies in the streets, see no motherfucking gang colors. I hustle and grind for my kids. Them real hustlers do, man. Fuck buying my kids Jordans and shit like that. Fuck making my kids think that jewelry and shit like that is really real life. I'm letting my kids know that buying land and making sure that your next generation have a better life than I gave you, man. I asked my 15-year-old son, I got grown kids. I asked my 15-year-old son this morning, I said, man, son, are you having a good life? He said, hell yeah, I'm having a good life. I said, you get everything you want? He said, man, I ain't never ever walked in the kitchen and not had nothing that I didn't want. But I tell my kids, man, it's been plenty of time when I was a child, I walked in my motherfucking house and wasn't no lights, I know what. I walked in my house and wasn't no cereal, I know milk. I ate motherfucking canned goods straight out the can and didn't even heat the motherfuckers up, man. That's because my mom and daddy were a piece of shit and didn't do what they should have did. I don't never give credit to motherfuckers that credit ain't due. My grandmama was the motherfucker that raised me and gave me all my motherfucking morals and my motherfucking standards of grounds of what I should be doing in life. And my grandmama knew at 12 years old I was in the street selling dope. But you know what she told me? Baby, you can't live in my house, but baby, be safe out there and don't let no motherfucker take your life. Do what you got to do to make your life, because your life is your life. Your life is your life, and as long as you know the consequences of what the situation is, baby, do what you do. And my grandmama never in life, never told me to go out there and take nothing from no motherfucker, man. My grandmama said, I'd rather see you selling dope than you out there robbing and taking something from somebody. She said, I'd rather hear my motherfucking people in my church tell me that your grandbaby's a drug dealer than hear about him breaking in somebody's house. My grandmama said, I'd rather hear about you getting your motherfucking money than they telling me you down there robbing the convenience store and snatching what's in the restaurant. And at 12 years old, man, I was living in motherfucking hotels, paying motherfucking hotel bills, letting cluckers and junkies go up there and pay for the room for a week, man. I wasn't going to school. I was getting my motherfucking money, man. I was bumping into my motherfucking mama in the streets. She out there smoking dope, and I wasn't giving her nothing. I just bump into her and keep it pushing, man, because I realized when I got into the motherfucking streets, I seen what real life was, man. I've seen a lot of motherfuckers, mamas and daddies out there in them streets doing tricks and doing shit that they didn't know they mamas and daddies were doing. It's a lot of motherfuckers that they want to point out that your mama was a junkie, my mama was a junkie. But I served a lot of motherfucking mamas and daddies that were church going motherfuckers, and they kids thought that they mamas and daddies were junkies when they were buying dope for me. And I was 12, 13 years old. And I was serving a lot of motherfucking mamas and daddies that wasn't out there in the street. They called them motherfucking weekend warriors when they get around their friends on the Friday and Saturday night and they come out and they looking for the young motherfucker that won't tell their daughters and sons and shit that they bought an 8 ball or 16 from the young nigga that go to school with them. Real shit, man. There's a lot of people in this world that they parents really lied to them or shielded them from their addictions. And I applaud them. I applaud the parents that was able to keep their addiction at bay and still take care of their kids and raise their kids to be people of what they are today, man. But people need to start giving people the gratitude and the congratulations for the people that done it. My grandmama was the hardest motherfucker in this planet. She had 16 nothing ass kids and had about 20 great grandkids and great grandkids, and she raised them all, man. She anytime one of them motherfucking nothing ass kids or hubs popped up at her door and dropped one of us off like we was a puppet, my grandmama pulled us in the house and went and bought us clothes and gave us food and took her to school and said, fuck them folks. But my grandmama used to tell me, man, look, I don't give a fuck what's going on in this world. I always show your mom and daddy respect. She said, them motherfuckers might be nothing ass motherfuckers. She said, but give them the respect that just because they birthed you. But she said, if one of them motherfuckers get out of pocket and try to act like they something to you more than just the person that gave you life, then you got the right to tell that motherfucker you ain't shit. And I did it plenty of times in my life, man. I went to prison at 17 fucking years old, 17 years old for a motherfucking murder charge. All because a nothing ass motherfucker robbed me and my auntie was the one that set the motherfucking robbery up. My biological auntie and another nigga robbed me. My grandmama's daughter helped rob me. And my grandmama always told me in her motherfucking life, she said, baby, I know you gonna be in the streets. I know you ain't going for no whole shit. And I know you. She said, because I know your granddaddy and you got your granddaddy all through your motherfucking bloodline, man. So you is an angry motherfucker, and that means that if somebody try to take something from you, you gonna take their life. She said, so don't deal with your uncles and aunties and the people that you say you love because you end up taking one of their life, man. And that's what happened, man. That's what fucking happened, man. I spent damn near 15 years of my motherfucking life in prison because my auntie and her nigga robbed me for a motherfucking bag of crack. And then that bitch got on the stand and testified against me, man. Like I was the motherfucking one that instigated the situation. Like I was the one that went out and done something to you. And I remember the most fucked upest thing in my whole time of doing time in prison, man. I called home and one of my other aunties, because the bitch ended up getting a whole bunch of money from the nigga being knocked off. And I didn't even know nothing about this, man, because I spent most of my life in juveniles for selling dope, getting money. So when I came in and out of juveniles, man, I never knew who the fuck my aunties and uncles was fucking with because they was clunkers. They fucked with a new motherfucker every other motherfucking week. I never knew who the fuck they was fucking with. You feel me? I never knew. So the nigga that she was fucking with, she on backdoor and married this motherfucker. I never knew that that clunker and her was married. So when she set me up to be robbed, and I went over there and peeled this motherfucking head back like a banana, and them folks charged me with murder. This motherfucker got a insurance policy over $1 million motherfucking dollars. $1 million to a clunker in the projects, man. And you think that, and the only catch to the $1 million, and I swear to God, you and I put my paperwork up, man. Everybody that's looking at me, they know I'm telling the truth. This motherfucker got $1 million and went through it with every dope man in Springfield, Tennessee, and Nashville, Tennessee. Spent all that motherfucking money that she don't got a motherfucker put in a bag and got her own nephew sent to prison for damn near the rest of my motherfucking life for nothing. Even her motherfucking daughter that she didn't even give a fuck about, that's older than me. I pulled her out the streets because I didn't want the dope nigga to snatch her up. And I was younger than her and I was selling dope and I was making sure that she was staying in hotel rooms with me. And when I got enough money and went and got me a motherfucking duplex, I moved her in with me to keep the dope niggas from snatching her to the streets. And she turned her back on me like I was a nothing ass motherfucker, even though she used to call me a brother because I used to feed and clothe and make sure she wasn't in the streets, man. Because we both had nothing ass mamas, man. We both had nothing ass parents from the same bloodline. But when you watch your own family get on that stand and tell on you, it's a whole nother special hate and feeling in your heart. You realize that the streets ain't shit and people ain't shit. And I remember calling home and talking to one of my aunties from jail. And I was telling her, and I was like, man, you know this shit ain't right, man. You know this fucking shit ain't right. You know this ain't right. You know I ain't done that. You need to tell your sister to set me free. You know what that bitch told me, man? My own auntie, another one of my mama's sisters, that was just happy that her sister had $1 million and she was happy to go spend that money. And she chose her sister's deception over me. She said, you killed her husband. You killed her man. I said, do you forget that bitch robbed me, man? You forget she and him robbed me? I didn't go knock on their motherfucking door and disturb their peace. I didn't go take none from them but that motherfucker life when he took something from me. And if I knew what I knew now, I would have took her life too. I would have. Because the only thing kept me from doing it that day was I looked in her face and I seen my grandma. Because my grandmama is her mama. And when I looked in her face and she was begging for her life, and I was thinking to myself, man, God, this is my auntie. She ain't gonna do nothing to hurt me. I can leave about this motherfucker with this motherfucker laying on the ground with this hole in his head. She ain't gonna tell these folks on me. Before I got in the motherfucking car and was leaving the motherfucking scene of the crime, this bitch had already told 911 what kind of car I was in. I was pulling out of the motherfucking apartment complex of where she lived at, her and the dude resided at. And when I left up out the apartment complex, it was police cars turning around chasing me. I jumped out the car and ran and got the fuck away. End up calling a motherfucking friend to come pick me up and got in the trunk of his car and rode around for 2 days living in a motherfucker family member's house. Watching the motherfucking news as they had my picture on the TV talking about juvenile killer on the loose. These folks literally had my picture on TV and was saying juvenile killer on the loose. Mind that I was 17 years old and most of my friends was the same age as me. So, and wasn't no cell phones really popular, so people just had paid. I had my beeper sitting on the thing and it wasn't nothing but a billion calls of 911 behind it telling me to call them back because people were seeing me on TV. I had cousins and family members recorded the fucking news channel 2, 4, and 5 when they were doing breaking news talking about juvenile killer on the loose. Do you hear what these folks saying? These folks called me a juvenile killer when I really wasn't nothing but a motherfucker protecting what was mine. I don't understand how they even think that, man. I don't understand it. So that's why I always tell people, man, you got to know what you getting yourself into, the situation that you is, and always know that family is gonna be the one that hurts you in the end more than any enemy, because the enemy is never gonna be able to get close enough to you to tell your secrets. They never gonna be able to get that close to you. You know, so when you sit back and you think that every motherfucking thing in the world is good and gold and you getting your money and you loving life and you got your homeboys and friends around you, just look around at your friends and know that them friends ain't your friends. Them family members ain't your family members unless you got something to give them. And if you ain't got nothing to give them, you ain't big homie no more. You ain't big homie no more if you ain't the motherfucker with the sex. You ain't the same motherfucker that they gonna call 20, 30 times a day just to make sure you all right. You gonna be the same motherfucker that when them folks send you to prison, them same motherfucker gonna be trying to knock your baby mama off. You gonna be the same motherfucker that a lot of these coward ass red motherfuckers go tell the police on because they wanna be you. They wanna be you and they said they gonna knock their competition out and get you put in handcuffs because they ain't got the balls to come over and take your motherfucking soul from you. A lot of these motherfucking weak ass cowards in the streets, they use the police as a weapon. They use the police as a weapon, man. When they feel like they run into a real motherfucker that got the potential to take their soul, they run to the police and tell the police, hey man, y'all got a real killer running loose over there, man. Y'all need to go get that motherfucker, man. Y'all need to go get him. That's what them cowards do, man. That's what them peons, them suckers, them weak ass motherfuckers do, man. And I'm not gonna ever in my motherfucking life encourage a motherfucker to do nothing but put a rat in a bag. I'm gonna tell a motherfucker every motherfucking day that God give me breath. If a motherfucker tell on you, sit back and wait, because I don't give a fuck if it take 20, 30 years, man. Get your revenge. Get your motherfucking revenge on that coward motherfucker that got on his stand. I wrote a statement on you and thought they got away, man. One day you gonna catch that motherfucker and he gonna choke on a motherfucking pork chop bone and it's gonna be over with. I'm gonna tell y'all this about, and I'm gonna end this with the YSL trash. Because I don't even want to talk about the YSL trial. There's too many rats in cows. Taylor Bumpkins is nothing but a public defender, a nothing ass lawyer that ain't got nothing going for her. Taylor Bumpkins online trying to catch clout, hoping that it get her famous. If you know anything, you know Young Thug footed the whole bill for every lawyer in this trial. Young Thug paid for every lawyer in the YSL trial defendants. He paid for every last one of them. If they didn't tell on that man paid for them. And even though Yak Gotti told on him, he paid for him because he felt like that if he let Yak Gotti go free with a public pretender, them folk were gonna have him on the little Woody list because he was already too eager to tell from the beginning. Yak Gotti was eager to tell before them folks even asked him to tell. And then when they told Yak Gotti who their main target was, that man said, "Go get me some wings and a sweet tea." And that man sit back there and licked his thumbs and drunk that sweet tea and said, "Send me back out there and I'll go get thugs." That shit just don't happen overnight. You born a rat. You born a soft badge coward motherfucker. You born a weak ass individual. Just like some people born to be rainbow, these motherfucking cow motherfuckers was born to be suckers and rats. And most likely they kids gonna be rats. So if you know any motherfucker that don't told on a motherfucker and they tell you they dad is such and such and you know they daddy was a rat, then you don't need to be dealing with them because they got the potential in their DNA to tell them. It's in their DNA. That's like little D daddy from Cleveland. He was all online the second day after they went out there and snatched little D ass up off that motherfucking wheelchair when they let him out the hospital because he played them reindeer games. His daddy went on a podcast and his daddy was talking that shit. Oh, we ain't raised no rats over here on Cleveland. My son ain't told on nobody. My son ain't done this. Them folks dropped that motherfucking interrogation tape where little D was down there weighing about 65 pounds, scared to motherfucking death. Them folks told him they gonna give him 180 years. And that motherfucker said, I'm telling on Thug, I'm telling on Mutu, I'm telling on Woody. They said Woody already don't told on you. He said, oh, well, I'll tell on anybody else. I ain't seen dude daddy pop on live no motherfucking more talking about his son ain't no rat. The world know your son's a rat and a coward now. The world know that Lil D from Cleveland is a rat and a coward. The world know Mutu is a rat and a coward and on PC in the penitentiary right now. The world know Kenneth motherfucking Woody Copeland is the reason why so many black males in the state of Georgia are serving prison time and on probation and parole, all because Detective Copeland was working harder than the police department. Now, if I'm wrong, somebody tell me I'm wrong. But when you're right, you're right, and when you're wrong, you're wrong. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But yeah, my podcast is Hood News Reporter One word on YouTube, y'all. Hood News Reporter One. It's in the link in the bio. It's on my page on my last screen. It's Hood News Reporter One, where I'm the voice of the hood, meaning that every hood motherfucker gonna respect the words that come out of my mouth, because I ain't gonna say nothing but what's real. I ain't gonna sit here and sugarcoat nothing about damn weak ass motherfucker on this planet, black, white, Chinese, and Asian. I'm gonna talk funky about a motherfucker in their face and online. I'm promoting that any motherfucker that you know that's a rat ass cow motherfucker, you need to expose that motherfucker so you can somebody can call the exterminator and get them rats up out your motherfucking neck. I'm supporting that. I'm pushing nothing but revenge on the rats of this motherfucking world. And if the next motherfucker that go on a podcast and gloat about telling on a motherfucker need to be waiting outside with that hair dryer and push your motherfucking head back. So catch me later on tonight at 7 o'clock Central Time, 8 o'clock Eastern, where we gonna talk about whatever the day events of what went on in this motherfucking world. We gonna update on all the cases that been found online, and we gonna talk bad about these cow motherfuckers, man. And tonight I'm turning the fuck up, and I'm drinking that 17 motherfucking 38, and we cheering to every real motherfucker that ain't around us no more, man. The real motherfuckers that's dead and gone, that went through the streets and lost their life to the struggle. The real motherfuckers that lost their battles in the courtrooms and lost their struggles to their life in prison because some motherfucking weak ass coward like Kenneth Copeland testified against them folks because they couldn't handle their own problem. We on the voice of the hood are only uplifting hood niggas, man. And you don't gotta be black to be a hood nigga, man. Hood is born, you born to be hood. That shit is not jumped in, formed in. You don't be in a gang to be hood. You was born hood. If you was born hood, you know you hood no matter if you were born in Beverly Hills, man. Just because you were born in a project don't make you hood. I know more hood motherfuckers that grow up in Malibu that'll pop that motherfucking pistol before a motherfucker that grew up in the project and died city with me. So hood is hood, and to the next motherfucking conversation, the voice of the hood is 7 o'clock Eastern time, man. You know your favorite channel, Hood News Reporter One, on all platforms, especially on YouTube, where them folks on YouTube show me love. Them folks on YouTube let me expose all the rats and cows, and they let me. I ain't no motherfucking watered down, soft ass content on YouTube. My YouTube content is 3 times worse than the content I got on TikTok because TikTok is meant for adolescents and people with soft feelings and tender dick motherfuckers, man. You know what I mean? So follow me on my YouTube, man, and let's take this battle to the streets and to the world, and let them, the hood, let them know, let the world know the hood motherfuckers still exist. Man. Get at y'all later on this self. Excuse me. That's why I tell people, man, motherfuckers better realize that life is life.